All right. Wonderful. Well, we're officially recording. We're going to put this on the book. So for those of you who aren't able to join us, you're going to be able to tune in and watch us later. But first, let me introduce myself. My name is Holly Highfield. I'm coming to you live from Sarasota, Florida. This is actually where my husband and I moved a few years back from the Great North because we just didn't want to participate in winter anymore. Perhaps some of you can relate to that and are anxiously awaiting spring. But in the interim, I couldn't be more excited actually to be coming today to you to share some really groundbreaking health technology, in my opinion, because there's still a lot of people that don't know about this technology. But I'm going to be doing it from the point of view of a parent, of a mom, right? I'm at home. I like to consider myself a present parent or a present mom, if you will. So maybe you can relate to that. But whether you are a woman or man who are at home full time, or perhaps you're working in a house or outside of the house, or we call them work from home parents, we have something for you today. In addition, not only are you going to hear from me a little bit today, but I have a special guest that I am overjoyed to be presenting with you today because I had the pleasure of being able to get to know her a little bit and just a small portion of her family, and you'll know what I mean by that here, at an incredible excursion trip event that we did in South Africa. Thankfully, with this company. And so we're going to share with you some ideas and some options to hopefully let you, think about the possibilities of what could possibly be laying ahead for you as it relates to this health technology and being able to monetize sharing this health technology with others and what it can do for you. So, first and foremost, um, I worked in corporate America for 20 years. So just to give you a little bit of background, when this company and its products presented itself to me, I was not looking for another project. Who can relate to that? You are a busy mom, you are trying to juggle all the things, you're doing the shopping, you're planning the birthdays and the doctor's appointments and the meals and running to sporting events and all the things. And some of you may actually, and you may also be working. You have a career outside of the home, right? And so the last thing that I wanted was another project, not to mention, because we understood the importance of multiple streams of income, we also owned a traditional business, a brick and mortar business. We had a sports club. And so that kept us also busy on the nights and weekends. But long story short was that I had hit a pivotal point in my career where the stress and the demands of the job were literally taking a toll on my overall health and well being. And I didn't know how I was going to make that change, but I knew something needed to be different. And so when this company, LifeVantage, presented itself with its flagship product, I'm showing it there for you right there on the screen, Protandim NRF2, right? This little beautiful blue bottle, by the way. I'll be honest, I was skeptical. I didn't know anyone who had had success in this type of industry. And I had been to the doctors, I'd been scoped up and down and done all the things. They didn't have any answers for me other than to throw me some pills and say, hey, hopefully this will make you feel better. So thankfully, I was willing to go all in. I said, what do I have to lose? Okay. So I proceeded with caution and skepticism, but I started taking the product, and within less than 6 months, some things started to change for me. And I wasn't having to rely on pharmaceuticals or other things that I had been relying on the past or over the counter just to be able to get through the day. And I was sleeping better, and I had a more positive outlook and energy on things. And I just felt good. And I had forgotten what it meant to feel good. And so I said, you know what? If this product really is going to do everything it says that it's going to do, then I probably want to dive into this a little bit more. And so my husband and I, yes, my husband and I both, we made the decision to go to a company event after a year, mind you, of taking these products. Hindsight, probably wish I would have done it sooner. But we were in awe. We were in awe by the community that had been created by the consultants within this company. Everyone was there to inspire and encourage one another and see everyone succeed. And everybody had a different level of desire, right? Some people were there because they wanted to completely make this their full-time gig and just go all in and build an incredible business. And other folks were like, you know what? I just want to surround myself with really good people and share products that I'm loving as I'm taking, and maybe even just pay for the products it was that I was taking. And so we had all the gamuts of that. And so this incredible company, I tell you, they have products, and our motto is we take it to make it. Okay. We take it to make it. And what I mean by that is they take natural based ingredients, they've learned how to combine them in the right recipe, a proprietary blended recipe, which makes it unique. And it just flips on switches inside your body. It gets our bodies to do what they were already designed to do, our God given abilities. But let's be honest, our environment, our stress, our life, that the things that we put into our, that we eat and we consume, they take a toll. And as we age, we start to feel things, right? Maybe we don't quite get out of bed as quickly as we once did. Maybe we're not recovering as fast as we once did when we were working out, or maybe even doing some yard work. Our muscles are feeling a little more sore. Whatever the case may be, you notice it, right? It's not fun. No one wants to enjoys getting older. But what I love about this company is they have created these products that are naturally based, designed to help you get your body to do what it needs to do so that you can keep thriving on a daily basis. Okay. And I think that that's important. We want you to be able to continue to do the things that you need to do without feeling like your body just can't keep up with it all. Okay. Now, one thing about this company is they're always ahead of the trends. And if you haven't noticed in this day and age, and I can't turn on the TV right now without seeing a commercial about it, is we're talking about GLP-1s. We're talking about ways to reduce or to get rid of our weight, right? The rise of obesity, it's staggering. It's really staggering. And so there's this massive boom in market right now for GLP-1s. But we understand some of the negative things that may lead with those GLP-1 products. They're, for some people, it involves needles. For some people, we're talking about prescriptions, potentially side effects that are so negative that are irreversible, right? And you can go do your own research on that. But the bottom line is this industry, this idea around these GLP-1s and your hormone is set to go from 4 to 8 times growth by 2031. So what if you had the ability to get your hands on a product that is ahead of the wave and the trend that offers people an alternative to that, right? And so again, what I love about LifeVantage is they're always coming up with new and creative ways to be able to give people what they want and they need. And so we were the first to market GLP-1 natural activator. And what I mean by that is this product is going to naturally increase your own body's GLP-1 hormone. And it's going to do it in a way that's going to allow you to see the benefits that you want to see while also improving your overall health. Now, I've got a picture actually of Andrea right up here in the corner with her husband. They were at the launch of the Market Connect. This product sold out in just 13 days. 13 days. So if you're questioning whether or not there's a market for this or that people might be interested, trust me, there is. So I'm sharing with you on the screen. I'm going to share 2 people's results through this, our latest GLP-1 product. And really, we're talking about individuals who are making a decision to make a difference for their health, and they're activating it. They're doing it they're going against the beaten path from the commercials that they're seeing, and they're activating their body and they're seeing a difference. Here you see actually Dr. Ashley Locken. Her story has been incredible. She actually did a more recent photo, and I don't have that on this one, but she did a 60-day update, and she continues to slim down. Even in her face, she was overjoyed that she could just see the overall glowness in her face, and it wasn't as round. The inflammation had gone down. Her gut was feeling better. She's just feeling all around better. But what I like about it is they did a tag team. Her and her husband decided they were going to do this product and do it together. And then a few weeks ago, again, her husband made her take a picture with him and the dumbbell, the 26 pounds, because yesterday He had told her that he had officially lost 30 pounds in just under 3 months with this product. And you can see, and we're talking about losing body fat. We're not talking about losing muscle here, which I think is extremely important. Okay. But again, we could spend all day talking about these individual products, the science behind them, why they're so unique, the incredible endless studies. Yes, natural products that have peer-reviewed clinical studies to back them up. But I would much rather take some time to tell you more about the people behind the company, the people that are part of this evolution, this activation evolution. And so standing out here, I'm showing a picture of Andrea, which I can't wait for you guys to hear from her in just a minute here. She's actually with our CEO, Steve Fife. This guy could have gone in retirement. He came out of retirement because he saw the power of this company, the products that they offer, but more importantly, the people. What can we say? We got into him and he couldn't let us go. He has stuck with us. He has continued to propel this company forward. Our stock continues to go up. We are in such a phenomenal position, but the corporate staff work with us. And I love that. I didn't get that in my corporate job. All right. I had someone from above shooting down the demands and the things that I needed to do. And it was just like, yes, okay, you tell me how high when you say jump. That's what it was about. But here, the corporate staff, they ask for your input. They want to help you succeed and they work with us, which is extremely special, right? I mean, I have his phone number. What company gives you their CEO's phone number? Okay. So we're going to talk a little bit about the ability to be able to earn with LifeVantage. Now, what I like about this, whether you have experience in this industry or not, you can get in where you fit in. If you're a person who wants to talk product and loves talking product, then you do it. We have this incredible affiliate model where you're going to get paid, obviously, for every sale that you make. And then the more you sell, the company's going to pay you additional bonuses on that. But what's unique about our model is that we offer products. Yes, I'm showing our incredible, delicious TrueScience liquid collagen. This collagen, what I love about these products is people go on subscription. These are products that go in that they come on their doorstep every single month. And every month that the company, mind you, the company ships the product to their doorstep, you are going to earn money from that. Now, there's lots of different ways that this company does pay you. If you're an individual who wants to aspire to build a team and share this with other people and allow them to also earn as well with you and lock arms, then you can do that. And as you do that, the company is going to continue to pay you. We have what we call ranks, and I'm not going to go into all those details. I'll leave that up to the person who invited you here to really dive into what's going to interest you the most. But what I love here, and I'm sharing it with you, is we most recently introduced our income disclosure statement. And what this simply does is it gives you an idea of what kind of real money are we talking about here? All right. So depending upon the amount of sales or the rank that you are at within the company is going to dictate on average the monthly earnings that you can gain from this business. Now, what I love about this is that you don't have to be in the top ranks to be earning what I consider decent money. Okay. I know that can be relative to the person, but let's just take, for example, when you look at what we call a senior consultant too, that person on average is bringing over $500 in a month. That's over $6,000 into your household. What would you do with that $6,000? Would you go on a vacation? Would you pay off some bills? Maybe you sign the kids up for some extracurricular activities, maybe some things that you felt guilty about doing in the past because things were just too tight. I feel like the possibilities are endless, but you can see that as you move up the ranks, even just 2 more ranks, you're looking at $1,700 a month on average. Now, obviously, that's the average, right? Some people make less, some people make more. But I'm trying to get you to start thinking about what would I do if I had those extra funds? What could that do in making a difference in my family and how we go about our daily routines, our summers, our trips, and things to that nature? So What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to stop share real quick because I want to now introduce and bring on to you our guest speaker, Andrea Ebert. This incredible mama, if you are already telling yourself, I don't have time to do another business, I got enough on my plate being the CEO of my household. Okay. I can relate to that. I'm sure you can too. This woman is going to make you think like, what am I doing with my day? Oh my gosh. So I'm not going to share her story. Andrea, if you would tell us, introduce yourself, girl. Tell us about you, your family, where you're coming in, all the things.
Holly, thank you for that amazing presentation. Every time I see that, I get blown away and I'm like, sign me up again. And what I love about this business is, everyone has their own unique skill set. Every single woman, there is not one of us that is shortchanged on talent. And I was telling the ladies before the call got started, I love being with all these women because I am not a type A. I am not very organized, So if you think you have to be that to do the business, then I am not that person. But what I do is I get to rub shoulders with people that are, and I feel like I take a little bit of Holly and a little bit of this from everybody. So don't disqualify yourself because you think I'm not organized, I'm not this, I'm not outgoing, right? That's the first thing. The second thing I want to say is, I was telling Holly when we said we're going to gear towards stay-at-home moms, I'm like, what the heck is a stay-at-home mom? That is the most dumb title I've ever heard in my life, because and I think that's probably why we feel a little ashamed when we're like, just a stay-at-home mom, right? Like that's like calling Steve Jobs a stay in office guy. Like, does he stay in the office guy and there's nothing more to him? Well, we're all people and we are privileged to be with our children and to be mothers, right? But we have multiple hats we wear. We are CEOs, we're holistic healers, we're researchers, we're teachers, we're nourishers, right? We are event planners, right? We have so many incredible hats that we fill in daily. So what we're talking about here is taking all those gifts and talents that you have, right? And then you have the personal skills that you were born with. So maybe you're a type A and you're very organized. Maybe you're a researcher and all your friends go to you and they're like, okay, what milk frother should I buy? Because I have a friend that has spent 3 days researching what milk frother she's going to buy, and I do not have time for that. So I go to her and I say, Leah, which frother should I get? And then she tells me, and then I don't want to do what she does, but she loves it, and so that's what we do. But what we're doing here is we have some really amazing, awesome products that you're probably going to want in your own body. And then we have this incredible opportunity. Now, the way I built this business, I'm a mom of 8. I had 5 children when I was introduced to LifeVantage. Um, just a little backtrack here. I was looking for more. My husband was an executive chef. He worked nights, he works weekends, and we were living on a tight budget because we wanted to pay off our house. We had no retirement plan at all in place. We were living like a crunchy lifestyle. So I was buying raw milk. That's more expensive. I was homeschooling. That's more expensive than sending them to school. Paying a lot of things out of pocket for our family, and eating holistic, going to the chiropractor, all those things. And it was adding up. So we were looking for more. We hit a point, I remember, where we just were so sick and tired of being sick and tired. And my husband came from work one night. I was in the kitchen and it's maybe midnight. And that's when we had our conversations. And he had said, someone talked to me about opening a restaurant. And I remember in that moment being in the kitchen and just feeling like desperate. I was like, let's do it. Like, let's freaking do it. I don't care what it takes. If we don't do something different, then we will always live paycheck to paycheck, and we'll never go on vacations. We'll never be able to help our children or do anything unique with our life. And so we actually looked into opening a restaurant. And I know Holly had her own businesses before. So in a way, it's a huge blessing to get to that moment, because when you do look at opening a traditional business, you look at the expenses and all the things that are involved. And then you realize, wow, that's a lot. We would have had to pay 150,000 in just startup fees. We wouldn't have paid ourselves for 5 years. Then we looked at network marketing again. And I had kind of sort of known about it, but not really. And I always thought it was something where women thought they had a job. And then when I realized what this industry was, you guys, I was like, that is it. That is the answer. It is something I can do from home in the nooks and crannies of my life, and build something slowly to get to the point that it can actually impact and change our lives. And so the way our story looked is that I started building online. And so in the comments, or in the replay or wherever you can comment, how many of you use social media? How many of you research? How many of you, have become a master at teaching children how to read, meal planning, anything? Put it in the comments, right? I just took all the things I knew, all the things I was passionate about, and I started to share it. And this is the key word: intentionally. So when you join this business, the word is intentionally. We use social media. We don't let it use us. We use it very intentionally with a daily checklist, 1 hour a day. Maybe as your business grows, it's 2 hours, right? And that compounds over time. And I'm going to shorten my story, very, like, really condense it and give you a real quick timeline of what's possible. I had no network marketing experience at all. I had not been working in many, many, many years because I had 5 children already at home. So I started to post online, and in 3 years, my husband quit his job. In 3 years. Now, we were not, rags to riches in 3 years. We were very much on a budget. But I also looked at my husband then and I was like, you got to quit your job. I'm ready to just live our life on our terms. Yes, on a budget, that's fine. But we can scale this business up. And in the meantime, since we've replaced your income, we can go travel. So we've been traveling in an RV for 3 years. And it took 3 years to get to these ranks that we call the executive ranks, the elite ranks. And what I want you to know is it's not a matter of if you can do it, it's a matter of when. And everybody will hit that if you don't quit. And if you understand that it's a process and we're all starting from a different point and we all have different lessons to learn and different paces, right? But you will get there. Our story took 6 years. And what I want to share with you guys in the call, Holly shared the average income earning disclosure. And so our family is now, since October, with the launch of GLP-1, this is a super exciting time in our company. We hit the executive ranks in October. And so now our volume is in between executive consultant 1 and 2, which means our income is in between that range of 14,000 to 20,000 a month. And I cannot tell you guys, I was in my room. I was actually away from my husband. It was in Virginia. He was in California. I was building with my team in Virginia. And my friend called me and she said, go look at your paycheck. Because we had a really fantastic October. I looked at my paycheck and I called my husband, and I just remember the feeling of like, we did it. It happened. And I will never, ever, ever forget that moment. And that is the first time ever. So now we have 8 kids that we got a paycheck, right? And I want you to kind of think about how this would feel, because this is still new for us. Is you get your paycheck and you've paid all your bills, you've eaten organic, maybe you've seen a chiropractor or a holistic dentist, which is our kind of go-to. But after all of that, I have lots of money to put away, to invest, to save, and to build our future. So know that that's there for you. And before I close out, I just want to say, if that scares you, if you're like, okay, this is a little scary, all these things these people are talking about, well, then if it doesn't scare you, it's not worth your time, right? So that should sit with you. If it doesn't scare you a little bit, it's not even worth your time. You shouldn't even look at it. But if these possibilities excite you, get with the person who invited you. So I'll turn it back to you, Holly, and you can close it up for us, girl.
Oh my gosh, Andrea, I honestly, I wish we could I would love to have you continue to tell your story, because there's so many things about your story um, that if people could really dive in and realize how much they could relate to that in so many different ways. I mean, part of my story, and I didn't share this, is that yes, I got involved in this business. I had no prior experience whatsoever, and we made it work because we followed a system, right? We were coachable, we plugged into the system that the company had to offer. But more importantly, what I don't always share is that as we were building this business, I was let go. After 20 years of service with my company, I was let go. Now, unfortunately, I know other folks that have found themselves in that situation. They're like, well, now what do I do? Do I do a complete career change? Do I try to go back into the very industry that I was in because that's what's familiar to me? And that's probably the fastest and easiest way I can get into their paycheck, right? That panic sets in. But what I loved is that because we made the decision to kind of dig that well before we were thirsty and do it without all the answers, without knowing all there was to know about the products, we were able to position ourselves to where that panic didn't set in. I re-diverted that energy and that focus 100% on my LifeVantage business. And I love, Andrea, that, like I said, I'm sharing some pictures here up on South Africa because we talked a little bit offline about you being able to take, I mean, that's where I got to meet your youngest. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is fantastic. Like, who would have thought? Like, would you have ever thought you would have been able to take a trip like this?
So many pinch me moments. And I still was telling my friend I can't still process that trip because it was so magical. And then there's still many times that I'm like, what am I even doing here?
Yeah.
This like, and you know, Holly, I want to share one more thing. When I started this business, I went to a conference and there was a mom, very successful, talking from stage to other mothers. And she said from the stage, like, and you guys can relate to this. We tell our children, you can do anything you want. You know, we're
Yeah.
taking them to their baseball game, like, you go get them. You can do anything. You know, we're like the biggest cheerleaders. And then we always hold ourselves back, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And this mom, she said, you know, don't tell them, show them. And so what I found with this business is it doesn't take me outside the home. It's all incorporated. And so it becomes a family business. And every time we go for a rank, so for example, this trip to South Africa, I would tell my kids, if we get this, you know, we get to go to South Africa and I'm working on this. So I'm working a little extra hard to get to this thing that mommy really wants. And they're all cheering us on. How close are you? How close are you? They also know that when I go to South Africa, they get to stay with their cousins in Virginia who they haven't seen in a few months. And so when we won, it was just like a real, you know, celebratory moment for everyone. But even in those initial ranks, I know you and I were talking yesterday, we're like, sometimes it's like, let's all go out for ice cream because now mommy makes $500 a month. And that's really awesome, right? So it's just everything about this has just been an absolute blessing in my life.
I love that. I love it. Again, I think that we have this inherent this there's something about us which makes us are the CEOs of our households because we figure it out, right? We are quick to problem solve, we are quick to pivot when things don't go the way that we plan them to. You know, we like you said, we're the doctors, we're the nurses, we're all the things. And we put everybody else's needs usually before our own. And I'm just here to let you know that for me, part of the reason why I chose to dive in and do this business was because I needed to have something for me. I needed to have something that I felt that I could be passionate about and enjoy, but I could still contribute to the household for financially. Like that was important to me, right? Having been a career driven individual, like I needed to have that. And so, but I love that you bring the family into it because we do the same thing with our son Austin. You know, we're like, hey, we're shooting for this goal. You know, if you know we do so many more meetings or we do so many more calls or whatever, then like you said, you know, we're going to go to ice cream, we're going to go to the movies, we're going to like you. It can be as much of a family business as you want it to be. And you don't have to have all the answers. The system is already in place. Um, and unlike a traditional business, been there, done that, you're not going to have the overhead costs that you're going to have. You're not going to need to worry about the customer service. You don't have to worry about the product development or the shipping and things to that nature. The company takes care of all that. All you have to do is say, hey, are you open to taking a look at something? And if they say yes, great. Yes, shoot them a video. Yes, send them a text. You use the tools that the company has. It doesn't get any easier. And then through that process, you get to meet amazing people like you, Andrea, and Angie, and Christine, everybody who's been on this call. So all I can really say, I guess, to close this up is don't let your excuses be your reason.
Mm.
Let your excuses be your reason. That is a profound statement that I heard years back. And I have to say it to myself sometimes to remind me when I start making excuses about things. Let your excuses be your reason. Like Andrea said, let it scare you. It's going to be the most amazing thing that you ever did. If you do, you're going to get the most growth out of it. And if you have questions, look, just get back with the person who invited you here. Don't make them chase you around or make it awkward or anything like that. Just let them know where you're at. You're interested in learning more about the products. Maybe you want to learn how to make money. Maybe it's both. Or maybe it's not even right now. I'm going to say it. Maybe now's not the right time, but let them know where you're at so they can give you what you need in order to make an informed decision. Because I know we like to feel like we have options and know the no. So thank you again so much, Andrea, for taking time out of your hectic schedule and away from your family. The kiddos were so good and quiet playing outside. I'm impressed. And yeah, and thank you, Angie, for spearheading all of this and inviting us to be on. I really appreciate you.